All right, good evening. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. What we're going to do, as always, we're streaming live from my branch library. We're going to show our intro video. That way you can like, share, and also subscribe. Ain't that right, Jody? Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Leave comments, all that good stuff.
I don't know if I want them to leave comments. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare.
Now the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. Our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
We are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live from my branch library, and we talk about some of the things that we did last week, the things that we're working on right now, and some of the things that we got coming up in the future. Hey, Jody, let me check our stream. It seems like something is happening, and this is live. We always have something going on.
Yep. I do see we are.
Now let's see. All right, let's see what's going on here. This is live. I don't want to reload it. So let's see what's going on here. You know what? Let me see. I'm gonna refresh it. If I refresh it, see if it comes back on yours.
Yep, I'm watching on both.
All right, let's see if yours come as a picture.
Beautifulness of being a grassroots
Okay, all right.
organization.
Come on. Internet.
I do got sound on our
You do?
actual Facebook, so let me
All right.
refresh the YouTube, see what's going on over here. Because they can hear us. So everyone, we're accepting
Okay.
low.
Well, I guess right now what we're gonna do. All right. Hey, we're gonna do that. It's gonna be Spotify with a picture. All right.
Okay.
Hey, listen, this is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We're having some technical difficulties right now, but hopefully between StreamYard, our Wi-Fi, and all of our top of the line equipment, all right, we'll get this started. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN and also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo. What am I wearing today? Today, it looks like I've been golfing, all right? But I haven't. I've got my white hat on. I've got my gray glasses from Optical, Twitch in between. So if you see our sister, Christian, she drives the Optical bus. Stop her at not in traffic, but let her know that you like to check out her glasses. This sister has all the good-looking frames. Give her the prescription, and she get you straight. I've got on the white shirt with some blue dots on it. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. So this is one of the first times that we've ever did a podcast where it's just sound.
Well, it actually is good for our description of ourselves because, technology and all that stuff, it might click back in, but we thank you, everybody who is tuning in, listening, seeing me hold my phone and him trying to do the editing stuff on the screen right now.
Yeah. All right. So I think that I introduced myself, and we have a dynamite guest today. And hopefully by the time we get them on, we can ask them their name, what are they wearing, and what are we talking about today. So if you can introduce yourself, and then we're going to go right to our guiding principles and mission statement. Then we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back.
All right, everybody. Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I am the treasurer of this wonderful organization that is going on 10 years old.
That's right.
Again, for the reasons we give descriptions is because you never know. Things like this may happen. I can see on my other screens that you can hear our audio fine. So just like with Spotify, and the reason why I describe, because this is around the time where you're taking kids to school, or you could be out running errands or getting off of work. We don't want you distracted by trying to look at the images. Maybe it was one of the images back there that just the Spotify was like, nope. Y'all not gonna see them. But either way, we thank you for listening. And I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones from all over the world, from the people that I've met by being a poet, artist, illustrator, crafter. I run several nonprofits. I'm an elected official, and all of those people that you see kind of in that picture right now stand around my neck. So places that I've gone, people that I've met, people that are no longer here. Whenever I cross any stage around the world, being a solo artist, I am truthfully not alone, because all these things as they jingle and stuff like that remind me of the places that I've been. What I am wearing, if you can see now, kind of clearly in the photo, is like a blue checkered shirt, an arts commission under that. Of course, all the chains, tattoos, my own branding hat, and the staff that everybody loves. Also, I want to say happy Old West End Festival to those that were able to get out there and enjoy it. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. Again, hopefully soon we will have video connected back again to this, but hey, sometimes it doesn't happen that way.
All right. So one of the things that we do whenever you have a grassroots organization, and yeah, I guess this is just us talking on the microphone. It's all good. One of the things about a grassroots organization, man, we put something together here where we took all of the activists and we decided that Jody does something special, I do something special, and a few others. How do we bring all of these people together and not cause a problem? And we have what we call our mission statement and our guiding principle. That kind of sets the stage of who we are, so we stay within a particular framework of things. And our guiding principles is that thing that gives everyone justice, regardless who they are and how they come into this type of movement work. So if you could read the mission statement, I'll read the guiding principles. We're going to try to refresh this again, all right, and maybe get some video.
Yes, we are. So for those of you out there that may be starting a grassroots organization or a nonprofit or business or an EDU or something like that, it takes time. It takes a foundation. It takes things that you're going to stand on, because there will be a lot of distractions along the way. So this is how we kind of can, I guess as an organization, came up with ways to give us a foundation and
guiding principles,
walls, to make sure that when me and Brother Washington are no longer speaking or frozen on your screen right now, you will have something to stand on. So this is us. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Seems like we got some of them screens working.
No, we have our behind the scenes camera. It appears that that's working. What we're going to do right now, right during the break, I think that I got it. I think that I know what I want to do.
Okay.
In order to remedy this. All right. I think that back in the day, we would have a television and it would have an antenna on it. And sometimes if the TV didn't work, you would hit it on the side and there would be a quick flash of snow or something like
that. Bonk like the 80s movies.
Yeah, and it get right. So I don't have a vice grip with me today for the computer, but I got something else. All right. So I was thinking about that. And also when we turn to the behind the scenes camera, okay, that's going. All right. And so maybe I'm going to do the same thing with our primary camera. So what are we going to do right now? We're going to read our guiding principles. That's that thing that keeps everyone together and it stops us from imploding. One of the problems or one of the challenges with grassroots organizations is it's an unfunded initiative. That means that nobody gets paid for doing this. Yeah. It's strictly volunteer. It's that revolving doors. So we can't treat volunteers like they're paid staff. All right. And I'm a volunteer. And these are our guiding principles that keep us together. All Black lives matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working Black lives, wealthy Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow, and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
Before we take a short break, Jody, yeah, this is our 10th year of being together like this. I've done movement work with the Nation of Islam since 1991, but it wasn't until 2014 I saw that just ordinary people could just come together and speak truth to power. And I'll forever thank Jabril Bey and Mike Leonardi for coming up with this concept of community solidarity. And they put it together and they asked me if I would help plan I think it was a workshop at the Frederick Douglass. And then we started planning other things. And here we are. We would not be here without Jabril Bey, Mike Leonardi. And so,
lots of people along the way that sacrifice time, energy,
right,
and, have come in and also built awesome organizations themselves.
Yeah. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to take a short break. We're going to look into this camera. All right. I think I got it. All right. If not,
we just going to be going with the camera option number 2, and that's okay.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm feeling some type of way about that. But hold on. We're going to show Brothers and Sisters United. Our sister Avis Files is doing a dynamite job. This is the CSRN podcast, A Week in Review. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. This program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do, because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it, we have to breathe it, we have to do it, we have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
Shout out to Brothers United, man.
Canal. En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
All right, we are back. We have survived our technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on our YouTube. You might just have to refresh that because it looks like it's in a loop or not. Well, anyway, we're back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. One of our CSRN traditions, whenever we have a guest, we ask the guest who they are, what are they wearing, and what are we talking about? So, who are you? All right. What are you wearing and what are we talking about today?
Well, my name is Irene Blue, and I am a human resources professional, probably for close to 30 years now. I'm also a local pastor, Kingdom Community Christian Ministries, and I am a parent, most importantly at this moment in time, of a University of Toledo student who was impacted by the minority student scholarships that were paused here in Ohio recently. I'm currently wearing a pink and orange and brown and black dress, along with a black cardigan sweater and black shoes, and a headband that I have grown to love.
All right.
It has little stars on it that frame my face.
All right. I think we met you. Did we meet you last week or a couple of weeks ago?
A couple of weeks ago.
And you were just passing by the studio. Jody was doing what Jody does, which is sharing and commenting on our podcast across all of his social media platforms. And you came in, you're like, oh, what is this? And we're like, oh, we got what? No. And you talked about the diversity scholarships being paused. I've never heard of that. Always thought that a university would welcome the scholarships. They see what's happening in our communities within people that look like you and myself, and they would welcome it. So you said they were paused. So how did you find out, and what inspired you to act?
Okay. Well, that's a loaded question, and I hope you give me a lot of time to
Oh,
talk about it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And this originally initiated a good friend of mine, Karen Sherman Serena,
Okay.
had advised me to have my son to apply for a scholarship that she and her sister had endowed to the University of Toledo in the name of their parents, Cleveland and Zarina Sherman. We went to the website, couldn't find the scholarship, and it actually skipped my mind. And then fast forward to the MLK celebration, and it was noted during that celebration that based on the affirmative action decision from June of 2023, that the University of Toledo was not going to be distributing race-based scholarships. They had to have time to figure out, what was going to happen. So basically, I connected the dots and I said, obviously, their scholarship must have been race-based, which is why it was taken off of their website. And I wrote a letter to the university insisting that the MLK scholarship and all of these race-based scholarships be issued, because the affirmative action decision specifically only named college admission as not being able to use race anymore. Never said anything about finances. It never said anything about scholarship money. And the interesting thing about the scholarships that we're talking about in particular, these are, many of them are scholarships that were left in wills, and there are some living donors. These are private individuals and other corporations that have left scholarship money basically to level the playing field, to help out those students who are in need, minority students, Black and brown students, international students who may not have other financial sources, or at least need some assistance, and also to promote representation in various careers and fields. And so the efforts for individuals who have been successful in their careers and left money behind for students to look like them, to pave a way for them, has been completely stopped, at least temporarily, because we are challenging that decision.
You know, I'm reading the article. You shared an article with us from March 8th, 2024. And I don't know if this is 2024 or 1924 or 1824.
Mm-hmm.
It should be clear whenever we talk about affirmative action, and to put it in context, because at one point affirmative action meant that all of the slave owners could be white and all of the slaves could be Black. And they benefited from that for 400 years, all right, without us getting an opportunity to read, organize, buy land, vote. So affirmative action was a way of leveling things out, all right, to the best of its ability, because we know that one group had a tremendous advantage. And all we're trying to say is, hey, look, we're just trying to, even though we can't possibly balance it, but it's a good start. And can I just read, it is said that although the court did not expressly prohibit race-based scholarships, it indicated that eliminating race discrimination means eliminating all of it. Okay, so see, that's where you got me messed up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's the only time that it appears that this group wants to do things by the book when it comes to one person getting an advantage. All right. Are there any other groups affected by this?
Absolutely. And so
Man, I'm hot. All right.
I understand. I
didn't know that.
Yes, I reached out to the university, sent my letter. They did have me meet with one of their development professionals there, and I'd written the president. I never met with the president.
Okay.
I met with someone in development and had some conversations there, and that's where I learned that this was bigger than the University of Toledo. This has affected every single public university in the state of Ohio, because our Attorney General has sent out a message to the university saying it can be inferred that scholarships are to be stopped or paused. That's the gentle language they use.
Yeah.
They stopped giving out the money to students. And at the University of Toledo alone, this is $500,000 at UT alone that was not distributed to the students. And so this is affecting Black students. I've had conversations with the Latino Alliance, the Diamante Scholarship. That scholarship alone is a six-figure scholarship. So these are monies that were set aside. And if we think about some of the donors who we're talking about, these are local heroes that we're talking about. Eddie M. Cole, his minority scholarship, Clayton Humble scholarship. As I mentioned, the Karen Sherman and Serena, that scholarship. Judge Myron Duhart and Nicole Duhart. This is a judge.
He's still
his scholarship.
He's still here.
He is stopped.
We need to give Myron a call, Jody.
A sitting judge. His scholarship that he has left for students of color was not distributed. And in the other linchpin in all of this, some of the donors are asking for their money back now that they found out about it, because the university was not transparent. They did not initially notify the donors. So this March 8th letter or Blade article kind of hinted to what was occurring. And then some donors have been contacted and asked to change the original intent. So if you said, I want my scholarship to go for Black attorneys or Black medical doctors so that we can have more doctors and attorneys that look like us, those scholarships were stopped. They were stopped. And so this money is sitting in the foundation. There's a $711 million foundation at the University of Toledo. And these donors can't get their money, and the students did not get these scholarships distributed in the 23-24 school year. So every Black and brown student, every Asian student, every international student who could have applied for one of these scholarships is impacted directly.
I even see the Hutton family. The Hutton scholarship is on here too. Hutton Pharmacy Scholarship.
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So once again, they've moved the goalposts. They moved the whole field. All right. Clearly, they should say, okay, hey, look, here's the money back, and you guys could redistribute it through another party or create our own foundation. However, they're not turning
the money loose. I know that there have been conversations. There have been requests from some of the donors. The Willie Ann Moore scholarship. She is a living donor.
Oh, Willie Ann Moore.
Willie Ann Moore. She has requested her money back. The Sherman scholarship. They've requested their money back. The Diamante scholarship. They are requesting their money back. If the university is unable or unwilling to give out scholarships to the students as they intended, they want to be able to distribute the scholarships in the manner in which they desire. And we're telling donors,
oh man,
don't change the intent of your scholarship. Fight this. Challenge this decision. The original intent was to go to minority students. The law has not changed. The law only impacted admissions. It did not impact millions of dollars and potentially billions of dollars between these Ohio public universities. It's 14 universities. If UT has 500,000 alone, then I shudder to think how much the Ohio State, Ohio universities, and all of these other universities have that they've not given out, because they basically have been told, you could be personally liable. You could be, as a university employee or personally liable, if you did not follow the direction of the Attorney General, Dave Yost.
All right, I'm looking at the Black Student Union Scholarship.
All of these scholarships were stopped. The Ella P. Stewart scholarship, the Thomas and Elizabeth Brady.
These are powerful. These are powerful people.
These are Toledo.
Wow,
these are staples in Toledo, and these scholarships have been stopped. They're not giving the scholarships out. And then some of the corporations, and initially, here's another kicker that a lot of people didn't realize. When this ruling came out, the president had a commission for minority recruitment and scholarship, minority scholarship and recruitment. That committee was disbanded in September. That was disbanded. And so then there's also some other organizations on campus that were stopped as a result, or their names changed, because quite honestly, higher education is running pretty scared with all the political maneuvering that is taking place to end DEI, to end, these efforts to, welcome everyone. We're, to your point, rolling back the hands of time.
Absolutely.
And these students are still in need. The data suggests that, for people of color, we are still, directly impacted. We're behind in economics. We're behind in healthcare, in housing, in education, in job advancement, and in every area that our lives touch. And so to say that students of color, just because they're it's a race-based scholarship, it's like you can't say Black anymore. You can't say Hispanic or Mexican or your persuasion. You can't use your race, to suggest that you have been disenfranchised. And knowingly, in our country, those in power, have benefited. And here's just a small chance for us to help out someone that looks like us, to give them not a handout, but a hand up, a leg up,
Yeah.
to be successful. These are our best and brightest students that we are advocating for. And I'm not doing it just for my child, but the fact that if $500,000 is taken out of the hands of
Yeah.
minority students, that's today and that's for years to come. And the impact it can just be catastrophic.
I just think that, okay, just give us the money back.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll figure it out ourselves.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
And trust me, it wouldn't take much to set up an independent foundation that we can distribute our own scholarships. We trusted the University of Toledo, all right, to act in good faith. However, we see that they're not acting in good faith, and we need another vehicle to assist our young people that want to go to college.
Absolutely.
We recently, I think maybe a couple of years ago, Jody, we had our CSRN Black Lives Matter college scholarship. And what we wanted to do was to end that stigma attached to college students, as if it's all good. Once you're in college, you don't need any help, but that's not true. I've had 2 children that were in college and they needed a lot of help.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if it's college or if it's the trades, whatever the case may be, there's always a need for support. We run a hygiene kit drive through my church. There's lots of organizations that give out, clothing or food or book supplies, but the little essentials that people need, such as hygiene kits. Even on campus, there's a pantry for food and hygiene items that students can go and obtain because maybe they paid out all their money on books and now they can afford, those snack items and things like that. So there's always a need when you're on campus, or let's say you're away from home and you just can't go in mom's fridge and grab something.
That's true.
So when these scholarships are distributed, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that once your tuition bill is met, if you apply for a scholarship and you have a balance that is a negative balance, that money goes to that student. So they can put that money away for the next semester or for grad school or for a new computer or whatever they would need to help them be successful and worry-free while they're on campus. And so that's why this is so tragic, because you may say those 23, 24 students had their bills paid. It doesn't matter anymore. They didn't lose out. I know for a fact that one of my son's college roommates had to go join the military second semester. He didn't have enough money to come back second semester.
Come on.
Maybe some of this scholarship money could have kept him on campus, And so we are definitely challenging this decision. I have reached out to, like I said, several organizations outside of the university.
Okay.
I exhausted the remedies within the university, reached out to them to get help and support. And the doors were shut. And so we're working with Advocates for Basic Legal Equality. That's ABLE here in town. Senior Attorney Jennifer Martinez is looking for any parent or any student who's been directly impacted. And if you're a minority student and you attended the University of Toledo or any of the 14 public universities in Ohio for the 23-24 school year, if you're in school after June 29th, you are directly impacted because there were scholarships that you were blocked from even applying to. You couldn't even apply to it on the college's website. You could not put your name in the hat for even consideration because that money was held up and it was not issued to the students. $500,000 at the University of Toledo alone, over 100 scholarships that they were not allowed to apply for, that they were blocked, they were stopped, they were not handed out. They were basically, I won't say disbanded because the money's still there.
It's still here. If I was holding somebody's, if I was holding $500,000, I don't know if they're keeping it and it's just growing interest somewhere.
It is.
I don't know if they've already invested it and they're getting a return from it. So it all, it's not all there. I'm looking at these names, Pastor, and I see Donald Baker, and of course, June is also known as the Pride Month. And I see the Anaya Arroyo Latinx scholarship, $7,500. So I think that all of us got an axe to grind with this. There's a lot of us that could definitely bring this to light, make this known. I'm willing to do whatever you feel needs to happen to get more traction on this.
Well, I really appreciate that. I think the first thing that that can happen is we need people to contact Jennifer Martinez at ABLE. We need parents, we need students to contact her. Her phone number is 419-930-2317. And again, her name is Jennifer Martinez. She needs the parents, she needs the students to step up, get our heads out the sand. This
Come
is
on,
not
parents.
just for you. This is for your kid. This is for the 24-25 school year. This is for any minority student from here on out. These scholarships, this is money that was earmarked for them, set aside for them, and it's not being issued. So that's number one. We need to contact our political. I've been in contact with Paula Hicks Hudson, Sherrod Brown's office, anyone who's willing to listen. If you open your door to me, I am going to tell this story. This is criminal. This is criminal what's happening. The fact that you are not issuing the scholarships to the students and you're not returning the money. What are you going to do with the money?
Look,
where's it going?
I'm like, just give us the money. Just give us the money. Too bad, so sad.
Contact Dave Yost's office. Blow his phone up and say, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What do we gain by not educating our people? What's the end game? Are we creating a permanent underclass of people? I don't understand what the goal is, but I do know that I feel in my heart it's wrong. It's criminal. Whenever there is a donation, you must follow the original intent. And then for the university to manipulate donors, telling them to change it to say preferred African American or preferred Latinx scholarships, preferred VLX, or MSU, student body, a committee member or whatever, when that could end up going to anybody.
Look, that's going, it's not going to us. If it says preferred, all right, that's just a suggestion.
Right.
And we already know how that's going to go.
Because when enrollment is even less, right? If you're saying and some universities already don't use affirmative action in college admission, but they are intentional about their efforts in recruitment of minority students. But if you're not even actively recruiting. And what's really sad with the universities, you're sitting right in the backyard of 43607. You're right in the hood. And you're not going to promote. You have all of these schools, these high schools that are predominantly African American.
Yeah.
Those students who have the most difficulties, who perhaps and I'm not saying all of them, but I'm just saying that
I get it.
There are some struggles, right?
Right.
And to not promote that, and to not be transparent with our donors, not do the right thing. It's really sad. It really is.
What we're going to do, we're going to replay this podcast and probably pin it to the top of our page, and also to make sure that the parents need to contact ABLE.
Yes.
We know that whenever we advocate for something, I can't advocate without the parent. I can't just show up, all right, without having that parent there. That makes it a credible concern.
Right.
And we need the parents to be involved. $500,000 lets me know that there are it's a great chance there's a lot of young people that are impacted by
absolutely
by this.
Absolutely.
I had no idea that this existed. Pastor, and I call myself as somebody in the know, all right, on top of things.
Well, that was intentional, I believe.
Oh,
I
man.
do sincerely believe, they're not going to scream from the rafters that, hey, we can't give out scholarships this year because our attorney general said that it can be inferred that if we can't use affirmative action for admission, that we can't give out money because of your race. And the Supreme Court never said that. And I challenge that decision. I challenge that thought process. And if you have a problem with this university giving out this scholarship, then give that money back to the original donor, to that family.
That's right.
And there are a number of them on this list that are alive and well and are willing and able to distribute their own scholarships or forward that money on to someone whom they will entrust to be able to follow their original intent. It is not discriminatory to benefit someone that you've already discriminated against. It's like
right.
For all the wrongs you've done, and for those who have, worked in our careers, I personally, even in my will, have something going back to my college. Now I'm having second thoughts, on, okay, if I can't do it, and make sure it goes back.
Right.
It's a Missouri school, but still, the fact that someone could manipulate,
that's right,
the law for their intent, and it's happening constantly with even voter registration, and we're seeing it all over the place. We're seeing it with the problem with canceling DEI. Many people don't realize that some of your top executives and leaders in DEI work don't look like us.
That's correct.
You're impacting the economics of a lot of people. And it's like, this is a classic case of cut off your nose to spite your face.
And I don't believe that they don't mind doing that.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
They don't mind doing that because
collateral damage.
Yeah. It's all good as long as we end up even slightly ahead. But I don't believe that. I believe that something is going to happen that will create another vehicle, but we need this money back. All right, we need this money back. We can create another thing, whatever that is, which isn't hard to do, to funnel these funds through for the students that need it.
Right.
We could bypass the University of Toledo. We could bypass any of the public universities that want to adhere to that narrow interpretation, right? Unfortunately, they're not narrow about anything else. They give a broad swipe at making sure that all of our endeavors and opportunities don't see the light of day. But when it comes to finding something within our community that benefits us, even if it's, this affects 6%, all right? It could affect 1% and they wouldn't be happy.
Right. Not even 10% of the student body.
That's what makes me upset. Okay, we only have just a few Joshuas in there.
Yeah.
They don't want to see one.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we got you.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the crumbs
That's
that
cool.
we're taking the
That's
crumbs
cool.
and they don't even want us to have that.
And for our young people out there that may hear this lets you know how powerful you are. All right. That they don't want one of you to show up. That lets you know your worth. We're going to find another way through this. We need this money back. And we also need all of the parents to contact Abel.
Their phone number again, Jennifer Martinez, Able supervising attorney, 419-930-2317.
All right, last question. Part of our guiding principles is something called self-care. Doing movement work is stressful because most times we're dealing with challenging things. All right, so and it weighs heavy on a person if you don't have that inner thing inside that doesn't, allow you to break. What do you do to bring it all in? Because you laid it out, man. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm ready to get out of here, get going, but we still need the parents. What do you do regarding self-care? how do you balance everything in at the end of the day or at the end of the week?
You said the right word. Balance is the word. I know when to say when. You know, I have a profession. I am a pastor. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. You know, and I'm a dog owner. You know, so I have to take some time for me. And when I feel myself getting to that place where it's getting a little tense, and I
Yeah.
say, you know what, I may need to take a day. I need to take a day and just rest or travel, you know. And sometimes the traveling and whatnot gets expensive, but you can take a break.
That's right.
From just your everyday, you know, just going for a walk or going, you know, doing something that doesn't cost you a dime, even if it's going to a metro park or just anything to just give yourself a breakaway, going to breakfast with a few of your girlfriends, you know, that to laugh and just catch up, you know.
That's beautiful.
And for me, obviously, I'm a pastor. I have to have my time, you know, in the presence of the Creator, you know, so that I can
That's
be
beautiful.
renewed, you know,
That's beautiful.
and live to fight the good fight and
That's right.
stay in good trouble and, you know, be the chief instigator, as my
All
friends
right.
that
That's
Abel
what's up.
nicknamed
All right.
me.
Hey,
Thinks
okay.
about this in this issue, because this is major. One student, if it's one student, or you know, even if it were just one, I would fight. But I'm fighting for all the students
That's
that
right.
don't even realize they need to fight
Man.
and stand and have a voice. Had this happened in my generation, we would have shut that school down. We would have protested. We would have been at the administration building asking for
Mhm.
some answers.
And that's why I asked you, hey, just let me know, because shutting down college campuses is a thing now.
Yeah.
Shutting down those college campuses is a thing now. Let us know, you know, what we have to do. We're celebrating the 4-year anniversary of the Toledo Police Accountability Rally.
Mhm.
And whenever government ceases to do its job, then it's up to us to raise our voice.
Raise our voice.
It's up
And
to
you
us
know the shame about this situation, and I think about it, it's 14 universities that are impacted by this. Not a single one of those universities wanted to make this decision. It's an outside entity that's saying you can't.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're it's like their mouths are taped and their hands are tied. The university officials can't. And so I'm bringing attention to say the only way that we can really fight this is on the outside. As a parent, then
That's right.
and legally, because these are legal ramifications for not following the original intent, not, you know, complying with the wills of these individuals who've left this money for these universities and in these foundations, and for these students who were prevented. It's like as if their civil rights were assaulted. They were not even allowed to apply because of race. That's beyond just the universities. This is a legal battle that would
That's
take
right.
place directly against the attorney general, and perhaps beyond, to even get clarification from the Supreme Court, which I have even reached out to them to ask. You need to clarify this, because there are some states, not all of them, they all have differing opinions
That's
of the
right.
intent, you know, and it's just that our state is more conservative, and driven, you know, to a political side, far right, or however you want to look at it, and it's impacting students. Am I angry with the universities? I'm disappointed in the university for not being fully transparent from the very beginning. They should have sent out some kind of notification to
That's
all
right.
parents and students from day one. That didn't happen. So I'm disappointed in their response. But I realize and recognize that it's a fight beyond the University of Toledo. But for those, if this is where the fight needs to start, if no one else is taking this stance anywhere else in Ohio, then I'm going to take the stance. My student was impacted, and everyone that he was in school with during this 23-24 school year, those students need a piece of that $500,000.
That's right.
You know, and so we need to address it by going through it the legal route, and bringing as much attention as we can to this. If it does include, you know, making a statement, you know, in front of the university, say, hey, either give the
That's
kids
right.
their money or give the
Give 'em-
donors their money, but
That's
that money
right.
needs to come back into our community
That's right.
the way
That's-
we intended. And all those donors need to be treated fairly and not manipulated into changing the intent of their scholarships. The money was intended for those students, and it needs to go to them.
Well, before they start flicking the lights on and off here at Mont Branch Library, where they always lay out the red, black, and green carpet for us, we want to stay in contact because we want to have some follow-up discussions about this so that maybe we can identify more parents that need to be involved. Just like I didn't know, it had to be some parents that maybe have no idea.
Right.
There's children that have students that have no idea that this is happening.
Right.
So I know that it just can't stop at one podcast and think that we've saved the world. No, it doesn't work like that. It's not going to work like that. And would you be willing to come back
Absolutely.
at another time?
Yes, I would.
All right. Man, there was something else we wanted to ask you. We'll ask you another time.
Okay.
Man, thank you for sharing. Anything else you need to say before? Where is your church? What are the times?
Okay.
And so that we could visit.
Okay. Our church is located at 2160 East Brook. That's the Pathway Church campus. Our church is called Kingdom Community Christian Ministries. So we're kccmtoledo.com. That's our website. And our service times are 12:30 noon on Sundays.
12:30? Oh, shoot, Jody, we up at that time. We up. All right, that's all right.
We welcome you.
That's
we welcome you. Yes.
And let me say this. Normally in our faith community, I'm part of the faith business, and it is a competitive sport. And some of us are racing to the bottom, meaning that our ministry doesn't go outside of our church. Here we've got a beautiful pastor here that not only teaches the word, but also carries it in practice, that she's willing to assist others that may not belong to her church, but that they can be helped too. So those that are part of the protest community and activist culture, spirituality is a part of what we do. However, it's the right people that we connect with. So if you find yourself wanting to hear a good word, all right, see my sister pastor here, all right? See, if she here with us, all right, then she one of the good ones. I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank
all
you
right.
for kind words. Thank you so much.
And also I want to thank Tony. I'm gonna mention Tony Blue. That this is a beautiful brother. He's your husband, and he supports what's happening now. And most times, whenever I see a powerful sister that's saying some things that I'm too afraid to say under my bed in the dark, all right, with the door closed, most of us brothers don't support, all right? But you've got a powerful husband, and thank you, brother, for being here with Pastor Blue. We respect her. It was respect at first sight, all right, when we saw her and met her, and you have a beautiful, beautiful family. And we just thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you.
Thank you so much.
Family, this is the CSRN podcast. We're going to be coming back with community shout outs and concerns with Jody Summers. And yes, he only has 5 minutes to say 20 minutes worth of stuff when he gets back. This is the CSRN podcast, a week in review. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober, safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
For 5 minutes to close out. So
oh well, we've already
fine.
Well, we've already came back on. We're live. I know that's because we got the delay thing messed up, and I'm looking at the delay camera.
See, that's okay though.
Yeah, but let's not say it online.
Yeah,
let's not say it online while we're live. Hey, family, we are back. This is the Community Solidarity Response Network. This is our CSRN podcast week in review. Shout out to Pastor Irene Blue for coming in to talk about the diversity scholarship pause, which is really not a pause. We got to stop the steal. Can I say stop the steal?
Yes. We can.
All right. Because if I've got $500,000 of your money, Jody, and I'm saying, hey, look, man, I just can't give it back.
Let us keep $500,000 of somebody else's money.
I can't give it back to you right now. I gotta sort some things out, like your money and what I'm going to do with it. So anyone, if you heard Pastor Blue, contact Abel, ask for Miss Martinez. She'll know what you're talking about, and we need those parents involved. Hey, listen, Jody, we're going to get into some shout outs and concerns. Some of the things that's going on that you were involved in. There's a couple of things I was involved in. I want to table some of that stuff for next week. But for you, are there some things that's going on in the community that you feel that we should know about?
Well, first of all, because again, we are crunched on time here, kind of, sort of, maybe not so. But one of the national things, I'm going to go from national to local, and then all the things you might have missed during our Old West End Festival, which is kind of like the Mardi Gras for Toledo, if you've ever lived here.
Oh, that's true.
But first of all, I
never thought about it like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it really is. Again, being down in Mardi Gras and going to New Orleans and performing and stuff, I get to travel and do all the stuff, but that's why I love this was my 7th. But before we go into that, I just want to say sometimes the justice system gets it right. Now, maybe not all, but 34 counts for anybody that is concerned about politics and everything just not being right. As I feel, if you have a felony in this world, there are a lot of things you cannot do. So I think that should also include the presidency. So going back down from there to our little local community, feel how you want to comment, talk to me, not our organization. If you have any way, I said.
You can holler at me too. All right. Holler at me. Holler at me. Before you get to him, before you spin the block on him, spin the block on me first. All right.
I mean, I already got a tip track that I put on that whole situation, the first inauguration that is actually in the library and children books and stuff on Mr. Trump and the Orange Man. But going down to local accolades and stuff, the $400,000 has been discussed on several news stations for everything that happened during May Day. I did not like the way the anchor said in the beginning of Channel 11 of how the protesters threw stuff at police and then they retaliated, because that is not what happened. But either way, it is on the news. Thank you, 13, for your statement and how you made it for all of those victims of that, because even the long-lasting Damien, a friend of mine, of the tear gas and stuff was long-lasting. So regardless of the healed wounds and stuff like that, I'm glad that is being brought up, or one for those people involved in that case. Also, unfortunately, you got some good things and then you got some bad. The man that was bitten by a dog, we had on our very show here not but a couple of weeks ago, was investigated by the police, and you know what they said?
We found nothing wrong with us.
Exactly.
All right?
So on the worldwide scale of everything going on, shout out to all the protesters and organizations that are still going around the country, whether it's not as viral as 2020 or anything like that. In fact, I saw the protest for Palestine during the parade. I also saw some liberals that had Marcy Kaptur on a van reciting one of her speeches. But I love seeing that no matter what side of the political line I am on, I still stand with you. And that is some of the things that's going on in the news and stuff. Now, coming back here to locally, since the last time we saw you, there have been a few things that have gone on, starting off with the Lunch for Leaders, bills, budget, and a whole bunch of other stuff that was at the Wayman Palmer. That is our legacy group here in Toledo that does a whole bunch of stuff. I'm pretty sure they'll have another event going on, but that was May 30th. Also, May 30th was the poetry open mic at Just Toledo. I believe one of their first open mics. Again, unfortunately, I do several other jobs, wear many hats, and sometimes I can't make it to everything, but I hope from the photos that I saw that the poets and artists got to express themselves individually like they deserve.
That's right.
Now, there are several things in here, but I just want to say the Old West End Festival was awesome. This was my 7th time being in the event. I walked again with Elgin as I did last year, and it was interesting to say the least. I particularly did not like the route because we twisted and we turned. By the time we did get to Bancroft.
Okay, but that was Elgin Rogers, state representative.
Yes, Elgin Rogers, state representative.
Elgin could be the other guy, all right? Because Elgin's been on here, so I got to give him his proper, all right?
And after.
Give Elgin his proper.
But I was out there with him and all of our walkers and Anton Park. Shout out to She Speaks. Shout out to everybody that got on my page. Like I was waving and you just kept walking, even without headphones in. If I'm on a mission, normally I'm at the beginning of the parade or somewhere in there, so I get time to mingle. But we were all the way at the tail end along with the Scott Band, which I also didn't like. But that's how it happened. So everybody that enjoyed the Old West End Festival, thank you to all the people that came out to my table on Sunday. I sold my first hoodie in the wild to another artist and stuff like that. So shout out to all the vendors that went out there and supported themselves with their goods they make and all the musicians. Can't wait till next year. But you know what we got coming up right around the corner is the African American Festival.
That's right.
And even before that, we have Juneteenth. And my last check, there were like 15 organizations doing something around. You might find me at the Frederick Douglass Center. But if you can, make sure to check out them all because Juneteenth now is, again, a national holiday.
That's
and I want you to be proud of the flags and all of the melanin in your skin that you can. And I think that catches us up to today.
All right. So should we pay some bills and come back with 5 minutes of heat?
We can pay bills and then I'll come back before telling them what's upcoming.
Yeah. Oh, let's do the upcoming. My fault.
So that was all the past events.
My fault.
Upcoming events right now, again, Lucille's. I believe they're going to go to once every 2 weeks, but contact Sin or Lucille's Lounge and find out whether tomorrow or next week is going to be the open mic for there. If you, again, want to get out, do some stuff like that, put yourself on the mic.
That's
Saturday,
right.
We have Uncloistered Poetry live June 8th at the Peacock. Shout out to Joni and all of the features that I see on the list. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it because, again, I do have other taxables and stuff. But a friend of mine, Brian, Ohio, live in person is going to be at 26 Main Street. So we've connected online a whole bunch. I hope you have a great show if I can or not make it. This Sunday at 1 p.m. is the first annual Chosen Day presented by a friend of mine. I'll be at Danny Thomas Park, so that'll be the only chance this month. Possibly you may be able to see me vend or do other stuff. Whole bunch of artists. Also this Sunday is the Uncloistered Poetry Online. And before we come back on next Tuesday is the Tech Night at Toll House. If you are interested, I have my own specific ways, but the world is filled with beautiful people. So if you like AI and want to learn more about it, regardless of my feelings, there is a Tech Night at Toll House. So
that's right.
Go up there, check that out, and now we can go pay some bills.
All right. If you like what we do, we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, share, comment. We want to know what you think about what we do here. If you want to support us, you can support us via Cash App. That's #419. PayPal is CSRN 419. Follow us on Instagram. Facebook, listen to us on Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also whenever Jody starts tweeting again or Xing, follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter. We got to get back on Twitter.
We're going to find a good intern.
All right, okay, all right, yeah, all right. And our YouTube page, we're trying to get, is it a 100,000 subscribers?
Get the
all right,
and start reaching more people out on that platform, just like we do here.
all right. If you notice around the community, you might see a little bit, a few more Black Lives Matter yard signs. We've got those going. Inboxes, we'll send you a sign or bring a sign to you. We've got the defund Toledo Police Department signs, and soon we will have our CSRN of Toledo yard signs.
Yep.
Support.
You're going to see us on a whole bunch of events coming up as we are sponsoring stuff.
Absolutely.
For this summer and the youth.
All right. Next, I want to talk about 5 minutes of heat, because I think that we may be the only organization that whenever it's time for us to end our meeting, we don't end with a hammer or a gavel. Well, we should end with a hammer. All right. All right. We'll take that to UT with get our money back. All right. Whatever it takes. But we always end with creative expression, and 5 minutes of heat came from an old hip hop song called 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini. So we swapped around some words. And when we end, whoever has some creative expression, and Jody has been the resident 5 minutes of heat person. So what do you have for us today?
So everyone, again, as I said at the top of the show, and then when I share stuff, this is Men's Mental Health Month.
Oh,
Men between 18 to 25 are the highest demographic of suicide in the country. And there's a reason for that. We don't get to talk about our emotions a lot. We are always considered toxic or too masculine or stuff like that. So as a way for me to kind of give some clarity to those people and the brothers that I speak to on a daily basis, this month I will be doing all of the, I guess you could say, self-care pieces from the childhood series part 1 and 2. And this piece in particular is what started me off on this series of books called Toxic. So as my intro is, if you're going to see me a lot on stage, I'm an open book, yes, an open book to those that decide to read. 1,000 words, yes, 1,000 words to those who've only caught a glimpse of me. A lifetime, yes, a lifetime to those that can say they were part of my story. If you are anywhere under the sound of my voice, you are now family. Because on this stage is where I share the most vulnerable, yes, vulnerable parts of myself. And I hope, yes, I hope that you hear me. So let's begin. Peace. Toxic. I think I was made backwards. Yes, I think I was made backwards because your red flags might look like green flags to me, and my green flags always tell people to run. There's always someone trying to tell another person to stop playing the victim as they watch them bleeding, yes, bleeding out on the ground, dying from an injury that they did not cause themselves. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. It's okay, you'll be fine. No, stop. No one wants to see your tears. I can't visibly see, yes, I can't visibly see what's hurting you. So I don't believe it's real. So you learn to talk less and internalize your fears. You stop telling people, yes, telling people the problems that hurt you in hopes that no one, yes, no one will notice you crumbling from inside. You stop focusing on material things that you can't take with you. And because every time, yes, every time you try and take someone on this journey with you, they find out your worst fears. Yes, they find out your worst fears and just as quickly disappear. You become outcast in circles, yes, circles that you once loved. And spaces, yes, spaces for healing are no longer willing to catch your tears. So you withdraw until an emotionally compacted place in your mind where if you don't talk about it, if you don't talk about it, it's not real. You get angry quickly and lash out when someone touches you emotionally because all you want, yes, all you want is to be held. But there's always someone punching and pushing past your stop signs and triggers, telling you, yes, you, how you are supposed to heal. You latch on to people who you know, yes, you know you are not supposed to attach to, but their red flags may look like green flags to you when you only want to heal. So you isolate yourself and only do, yes, only do the things that bring you to the brink of your emotions, because now that's the only way, yes, that's the only way you know how to feel. Crying in between the moments of desperation, because it's the only sound silent enough for anyone, yes, anyone to actually know that you care without getting angry at you for being too loud and too aggressive about pieces of you that are no longer there. You hug too tightly, you talk too long, you're too silent at times, and you remove yourself from the world because you don't believe anyone cares. You look at all those flags, and whether they be red or green, you inspect, yes, you inspect the unchecked boxes you haven't talked about in years, and you say to yourself, it's far better than gray. Yes, it's far better than gray. Hoping that this time, this person, this situation will just listen, yes, listen, and stop playing with your triggers like there's some type of video game, trying to reach the high score, leaving the initials on the leaderboard saying, look, I was here. You just want to tell people, my trust, yes, my trust is so up, but I appreciate that you are here. And I am trying, yes, trying for the moment. This might take some years because I believe I was born backwards, or at the very least, yes, at the very least, color opposite, because your red flags might look like green flags to me. My green flags could cause you to run away. In peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. All right. I want to thank you once again, Jody, for 5 minutes of heat. Shout out to Pastor Irene Blue and her family for gracing the studio today. And family, regarding the diversity scholarship pauses, contact the ABLE, ask for Ms. Martinez. You know where to reach Pastor Blue.
Yep.
What was the church? Kingdom Community Christian Ministries. All right. That's all right. KCCM. Just yes, right. .com. Just put it in the search. It'll drop down. Family. And as always, Jody, if all lives can't matter until what?
Black lives matter.
And Black lives can't matter until
all Black lives matter.
Justice or else.